Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of VCTV. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott, and we are here to talk about big data and artificial intelligence, also known as AI. What is happening in the world when it comes to investing and building in these two big spaces? And also, why are they so important to the future of all of our company products and services? Well, we've brought together some of the best and the brightest when it comes to these two industries, along with investors in the space to share their thoughts and insights with us on both big data and artificial intelligence and where the future is headed around these two areas. And before we introduce each of them, a big thank you to you, our audience, for tuning in. Make sure you click subscribe, share the episode, and check out the archive on latoken.com to hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family. Also, the comments box is open, so make sure to say hi from wherever you are tuning in today, and also throw in any questions you may have, and we'll do our best to ask them in real time to our guests. And also a big thank you to the Latoken team and to Maria for making today's episode of VCTV possible. With that, I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. Let's go ahead and introduce our wonderful panel of investors. Harsh, let's kick it off with you. First and foremost, a little intro and a little background for everybody, please.
Hey Kyle, glad to be back on VCTV as always, and glad to have Gary and Raghu here as amazing as well, right? It's amazing that we all get together on a weekly basis and just having two sessions today with Raghu himself. So really great fun. Short background about myself. My name is Harsh Shettia. I'm a founder of a Facebook group called Startup Hackers. This is primarily for early stage startups, giving them a lot of mentoring, support, and advice to kind of scale it to the higher level till the time we can actually get and work with them more hands on. Additionally, I'm a venture partner with startup R Ventures, where we typically help startup raise funds up to $10 million. Primarily, we are an India and Asia focused company, but occasionally we do kind of extend to other geographies as well. And we are completely sector agnostic, be it fintech, health tech, marketing tech, doesn't matter, any sectors, we can always help you out. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you as well, Harsh. Raghu. Welcome back. A little intro, a little background for everybody, please.
Thanks, Kyle and Latoken. I'm really privileged to be on this panel with very, very knowledgeable folks like Gary and Harsh. I'm from Princeton, New Jersey, angel investor, strategic advisor, and serial entrepreneur. My area of focus is decentralized cybersecurity, biotech, health tech, and all in impact areas. I think big data and AI is topic that it's matured. Both big data and AI have been involved in it over the last 20 years, but now technologies have matured and it is coming to what we call low code and tiny ML embedded and things like that. So exciting things happening, and the pandemic has accelerated it. Look forward to the discussion.
Awesome. Last but not least, Gary, a little intro, a little background for everybody.
Yeah, great to be here. Great to see my friends with their smiling faces. My name's Gary Fowler, and I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. Done 17 companies, been involved in 2 unicorns. Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion about a little less than 2 years ago, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company that I co-founded 5 years ago, which is a company that is one of the top 10 in AI HR tech. Hit the right moment at the right time with the pandemic. Our business through the pandemic has been up 38 times and growing. Will grow probably tenfold this year. So what else? I love AI. AI is a new electricity. I've been investing and been a part of AI companies for some time. I actually got started a long, long time ago, which Raghu will remember Ops 5 and Lisp back in the many years ago. But finally, we're at an incredible time. We got so much data around us that we need tools that can help us to be able to manage that data better and help us make incredible decisions going forward across multiple vertical markets. So it's great to be here. I'm the CEO, co-founder of GST Get Shit Done Venture Studios, premier AI and quantum venture studio. In fact, today we are in Nigeria, presenting in Nigeria with Nathaniel from VCTV. Actually, he's been helping us out a lot. So my partner's there today, curating companies and presenting and talking to AI startups. Great to be here.
Thank you all very much. And Gary, let's kick it off with you. I mean, you mentioned that there's these new tools needed to process and handle all of this data that we have. Share a little bit more about what this industry all looks like and what some of these tools are that are missing in the industry when it comes to big data and artificial intelligence.
Well, the thing is, there are so many holes to plug, Kyle, but let's just look at a few of them. So I was on a panel about 8 months ago on AI and drug discovery. And of course, we had a urgent need to get the COVID vaccines out. Being able to do to not have to do the bench time, to be able to do modeling, use AI. In fact, Pfizer with Watson, it's just an incredible. Think how much our lives have changed and how much better the society is just because of that. So it's literally across the board, all kinds of health tech innovations. Then we look at things like supply chain. One of the things we found out very, very quickly going through this pandemic is we couldn't get something as and I remember, Kyle, it seems like a long time ago, doesn't it, that we couldn't get a roll of toilet paper? I mean, it's unbelievable. And here we are, advanced societies, we're gone to Mars, we're traveling in the ionosphere and we can't get a roll of toilet paper. Well, part of the problem is that we didn't have insight in the supply chain. So now imagine having the incredible capability to have the insight in the supply chain to understand where that product is, at what place, at what time, so you can get it out to consumers faster. And we understood that when we came down through in the beginning of the pandemic with all kinds of products and services. So we understood it was broken. And, in manufacturing with cobotics, being able to manufacture more efficiently and effective, being able to have robots talk to each other using artificial intelligence. Then we pile in the Internet of Things. And Kyle, we have so much data around us. As I've said many times, 40 zettabytes of data. That would go back and forth to the moon 29 times if there were CDs. So we're inundated. Toffler had this term infobesity, and I used it. I actually got some T-shirts made up that said infobesity is a #1 killer because it's true. I'll show them to you. I actually had them made up just for the hell of it. And we're inundated. We're in a state. Here we are, highly educated, even on the panel today, and all of us. How many times a week do you say, I sent you an email. Did you get it? No, I don't remember seeing it. Where did you send it? And then you have to go down. Well, I didn't really send it there. I sent it WhatsApp or Slack or WeChat or Word Telegram or whatever, or your email addresses. We're in a state where we need to have intelligent, not smart, intelligent assistants to be able to help us live our lives better. There are going to be two classes of people very, very soon. The people that understand data and the people don't. And the people that do understand data are going to rule everything. And you see that transition happening today. We need to each really democratize the opportunity so we each have a fair chance to be able to move forward through life. And having that kind of artificial intelligence, look at sustainability, look at agri-tech and farming. I mean, we need to have real-time information so we can process it to make our lives better and to deal with a lot of the challenges we have in front of us.
Thank you, Gary, and definitely would love one of those T-shirts. We got to represent that here on VCTV for you. But Raghu, anything to add on to Gary's point? I mean, you do a lot in the health and bio sectors along with cybersecurity. What tools are missing around the potential of big data that we have now, so that we are not those that are left out, but we are those that are included as we head into this next decade of infobesity, but hopefully a way to process it and understand it.
Yeah, before I get into the security privacy part, I wanted to address the infobesity part. I think that we need tools to do kind of like liposuction. I would call it rot suction, ROT, and dark data, or Gartner terms. Dark data is data that is created but never used again, never looked at. And rot is redundant, occasionally used in trivial data, which is very, very occasionally touched. But this is something like 75% of all the data, the zettabytes that we are creating. So we need ways to process these at the edge where it is created, and then get rid of all these things, either put it away if you're ever going to use it, age it and get rid of them. And so edge processing tools are very needed, local edge processing tools. That's a very important space. Going back to cybersecurity and privacy, I think the current tool sets are not able to handle three kinds of things. One is insider social engineering type of attacks, which are the bulk of them. Then there is quantum attacks, given the big number crunching, I mean, astronomically increased number crunching capabilities. So the encryption is not enough. You need something beyond encryption. And then there is the whole privacy aspect where whoever is creating the data needs to own it. So we need tools for all this. And in the biotech space specifically, there is obviously the personally identifying information about clinical trials and all that kind of thing, the medical records. There's also tools for, as Gary mentioned, for drug discovery, for, there's a new technology called SAMD, which is just, there's no actual device. It's purely AI and, data stuff. It's, software as a medical device. And that's another exciting area which, FDA is now giving clearance, where there is no actual physical device. So there's a lot of those things happening now.
So when it comes to security, though, real quick, take us, we lost Harsh for a second there. Where we go. When it comes to security, take us one level deeper. So now that we have all this data and we're looking at healthcare as a service, or excuse me, health devices as a service, we're looking at edge processing. How is security going to play a role in this? Because it sounds like, just to paint that picture for a second, we've got a lot of data flying around and no real encapsulation of that data. And so where is security and that security layer going to play a role in this future that you just painted for us?
I think the most important part where security needs to come in is at the part, at this location where the data is created. And so that the person or the entity creating the data needs to retain ownership and be able to share, with others, one time and things like that. Right now, if you give something to somebody, they get it forever, right? In most cases. So you need those kind of instant sharing or verification where they don't actually need to get the data. They just need to verify something, right? So you should be able to have a way like escrow provider, a third party, where you can verify the data without actually having to download it. For instance, the FBI database called CJIS, Criminal Justice Information System, you cannot actually get any data back from them. All you can do is send them a fingerprint. It'll tell you if it is in the system or not, and then who it is. You have to actually provide like the name and the fingerprint, and it'll say yes or no. So you're not really grading any new data. So those are the kinds of systems we need, where there is no data leakage happening. There's a lot of leakage happening at the source, and then you lose control. So that is one place, especially from privacy aspect. The other aspect is to make sure that the data that you are sharing is, the system breaches do not translate into data breaches. We have pervasive ransomware attacks, all kinds of denial of service attacks. So once the system goes down, or if the system is breached, we do not want the data to be breached. So we need platforms which, decentralized platforms and something beyond encryption, which a company called SplitByte is doing, which I think Gary is also helping out now. So I think there are some exciting technologies in decentralized cybersecurity and privacy.
Decentralized, one of my favorite words and favorite topics to talk about, but we're going to hold that for just a second. Harsh, talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing from the side of big data and artificial intelligence, as well as both an investor and also as an entrepreneur.
Got it. So definitely in terms of big data, the opportunities are absolutely amazing, right? In fact, there was this one health tech company I was working with that told Gary about the same as well. What they were essentially working on is try to, simplify the job of doctors. For doctors, prescription, so a discussion of preparing the medical reports and getting the data down, it extremely becomes a very cumbersome task for them. And how about, you can simply record a doctor and get it translated. There are some companies who are already doing that, like Nuance is already operating in that space. But this company, the one which I was working with, they are going to take it one step further and do it advanced and, prematurely kind of identify what the doctor is going to say, right? So AI has multiple aspects to it. The first aspect is obviously in terms of identifying patterns and being able to predict what's going to happen. And then it's going to be in terms of preemptively deciding, that this is going to happen, and preemptively taking countermeasures, of how if certain things happen, how you can react according to that, right? That is going to be what the future of AI is looking like, and that's what this company was trying to work on. It's absolutely incredible to see, the kind of concepts that they had. The current format was just on a simple format of, a medical transcription, where whatever the doctor is saying, they would simply translate it. But then they wanted to take it to the next step further. It was absolutely, mind blowing. So you look at it in terms of the application, AI is absolutely phenomenal in terms of the new startups which I'm seeing. Additionally, there are a few other startups which I'm seeing primarily into the B2B kind of space, where they are kind of in India. You see the grassroots retail shops which are there across the country, right? They're trying to help them come online and help them with better geographical prediction in terms of what the stock market demand, what the inventory demand is, and what the customer requirement for the product is, and help them source that products in advance, so that they maintain the right inventory at the right time, so that they never fall short, and they can kind of dynamically ensure that the inventory is there. So lots of interesting opportunities are there in the AI space. And if you look at it right now, AI, the three major technologies which I see are going to shape the coming decade are AI, cybersecurity, and blockchain. And you just look at this panel, you have you yourself being a blockchain expert, Gary is an AI expert, and Raghu is a cybersecurity expert, right? The kind of insights that we have from three of you coming itself, and the kind of inputs and the kind of transformation that we are seeing in these three sectors is absolutely mind blowing ever since COVID started. You look at kind of growth which is happening, and there are increasingly. I just last week came across a blockchain application. Obviously, this is not a blockchain panel, but I came across a blockchain application, which is a very interesting way to kind of completely keep the data of a person secure, and you could kind of decide how much of my data is being shared with another channel partner or not, right? Imagine the application of a technology like that, where instead of each and every data being captured by itself, I as a user decide how much of my data will be shared with the other party. The potential of something like that, it's absolutely amazing. So the innovations that are coming is so brilliant. It sometimes, as an investor, it completely takes me by a huge surprise and a shock, and I'm just left awestruck, to be quite honest.
I totally understand. And Harsh, you can always talk about blockchain here with me on VCTV. No hesitation. I'll talk about it all day. But thank you for painting that picture. I want to switch the script here just a little bit and talk about it from an investor standpoint. So I'm looking. We'll use me as an example. I'm looking to begin investing in big data and artificial intelligence. Where should I start looking at as well? What should I know, and where should I start looking at on a global scale? If I'm looking to make early stage investments in artificial intelligence and big data. Gary, let's start with you. I'll throw you on the spot, help our audience, and I'll stand in for them as the moment. Give us some guiding practices of to look for in early stage AI companies, but also maybe where we should start laying some bets as we're looking for the next 10 years here as investors in artificial intelligence.
Well, I mean, if they're early stage companies, the rules stay the same. So you want to look at the team, who's on the team, are they well balanced? Do they have any revenue? Do they have product market fit? The basics. So if it's an early stage startup, that's number one that I'd be looking at. The second situation is, let's look at all the challenges that we have, as I've said earlier, we have in front of us. So what are they addressing? And again, it's about the training sets. The models of AI are transportable. The training sets are different. So where have they attacked the market? I can tell you, like in Eva, the company that I co-founded, we actually had to pivot 3 times with the company, and we landed on remote workforce management 2.5 years ago. So look for areas where they're paying. Hyper-personalization, we've talked about it a number of times, Kyle, but hyper-personalization across the board, whether it's e-commerce, how do we get to better know the customer and anticipate what the customer is going to want before they even know that they need it? The other thing is, with all the massive amounts of data that's around us, the types of chatbots, the types of services out there that can provide these intelligent assistants to be able to help us, to be able to guide us, to be able to make better decisions. And as I said, think about your own personal cloud today. There is no search tool that's cross-platform that I know of as we speak that we can use to be able to search across multiple platforms within our own personal cloud. And we're inundated with data. was me, I'd be looking at those kind of things. The other thing is obviously with all the focus on space tech, going to Mars, like the European Space Agency, developing intelligent assistance. For one, for the health standpoint. Two is to be able to better mentally work with the astronauts or cosmonauts to be able to help them during the journey. Self-driving cars. We're moving to an age where we won't physically be driving cars anymore. We need to have technologies, better LiDAR, better systems in place to help the car make better decisions. And then cars interconnected, one car to another. So they know at any time, at any place where the other car is, so there won't be accidents. That also is going to fundamentally change insurance companies, right? They're not going to want to insure us. They're going to want to insure the vehicles. So it's an amazing time. Then we got sustainability. We've got population increase. We've got agri-tech and farm tech 4.0. We need to produce more in a smaller amount of land, and we have to have better quality and more nutritious. So all that at the same time, and what does that mean? That means IoT. That means sensors in the field. That means being able to understand that data and have that data acted upon. It's not just collecting it. It's how to be able to act upon the data. For instance, if I'm a farmer deploying a farm tech, whatever that is, device to be able to fertilize the field, not enough potassium, put potassium in, get it out. It's just, what we're doing is really making systems more optimized and efficient.
Absolutely. And with that, Raghu, I want to come to you for the same question. And Gary's mentioned a lot. And I know cybersecurity is going to be one that you mentioned. So take us down that path in terms of artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. Where should I be paying attention to as well as our audience looking at making investments in these spaces?
So I would look at cybersecurity melding with AI, right? So we are talking about, there is this so-called generational adversarial networks which spread fake news, disinformation, things like that. We're going to soon have lawsuits coming from mistakes made by AI systems, which could be either from the bias or from bias based on the training data, or it could be intentional, these generational adversarial networks spreading disinformation, right? So the insurance has to deal with it, and then what happens when there is a dilemma, like a self-driving car comes in, it has to either run over a child or a grandma. How does it decide? Those kind of issues are going to come. So self-healing, auto remediation kind of thing, self-correcting systems. AI can help there. So I think that's the next generation where it's not just about providing a service, but also being able to pivot and also some kind of ways to be able to defend. If it makes some mistakes, or you can go back and because these are not deterministic systems, you need to be able to find out where it came from. I think that area there's a lot to be done. I think the other areas are emotional and ethical AI, the predictive maintenance, especially of remote systems in fields where there is not many younger generation is investing in, like nuclear engineering. You need to get the corporate data that is in people who are retiring and translate them into AI-based tools so that you can actually leverage a smaller subject matter expertise population to continue to do the kind of things that need on very mission critical systems. So I think, and of course, cybersecurity, the decentralized cybersecurity I talked about. In general, cybersecurity and privacy are going to be top of mind, given the type of everyday what you hear about ransomware and data breaches and things like that.
Thank you very much, Raghu. Harsh, same question to you as an investor. Where do you recommend in terms of opportunity areas for us to start paying attention to if we're looking to make early stage investments in the spaces of big data and artificial intelligence?
Got it. So there is going to be a multi-pronged approach to this, right? First and foremost, it always comes down to which sector that you like the most, right? Each and every individual definitely has his own sector of preference, whether it be healthcare, fintech, whatever might be the case. Identify the one which suits you, and then you can determine which sector is the most important. Next step would be identifying what the latest developments are which are happening in that sector, and where you can truly invest in, identify what the most pressing needs are, right? If you don't identify what's the most important needs and what are the current challenges right now, you could end up that you're finding something, some new product, some new startup looking to raise funds, but there are already competitors in the market which you're not really familiar about. So it's extremely important to invest in only those areas where you truly have deep expertise in, because the markets these days are moving so fast, it's just absolutely crazy. So to give you an example, I have been following the marketing tech space for quite some time, and the amount of developments which are happening over there is absolutely phenomenal. The growth, just about 5 years back, you had Google being the only programmatic advertising player in the market, and now you have Outbrain, Taboola, and all these other players which are there, which are absolutely phenomenal and doing amazing work with programmatic advertising. At the same time, you have these amazing DSP and DMP solutions which are there. So just recently, a marketing tech startup had come to me for investments and kind of helping them grow the business to the next level. They were a plain vanilla SMS marketing product, and with they weren't kind of familiar with what's currently happening in the US. So what we typically did was I suggested some new advancements in the features which they could kind of implement, and once they started doing that, the business completely skyrocketed, and they are due to do $2 million revenue by the end of this year. That's extremely important, identifying the right sector at the right time, because the timing is the most crucial. It's not just about which sector you put your money in, but to get it at the right time where the demand is just primed to truly explode. So apart from marketing tech, I mentioned these sectors which are there. For example, you have video based selling directly happening. That is something I think could really take off. So what would it look like is, you have an e-commerce store, or something like a landing page or a funnel, where you can have a video running in front of you, and at different points of time you get different offers popping up, and they are clickable offers. So within the video itself, you can click and go to the right offer at the right time and get it exited out. A next step to that would be for that to happen in a regular TV, not just on a laptop, but in a regular TV. So that technology is something, there are some people working on that. However, I still feel it's about a year or two before time. So this is in the marketing tech space. You look at it in the health tech space. We are actually currently raising funds for a cancer drug molecule company. What they are essentially doing is they are using AI-based predictive modeling to kind of minimize the cost of drug development and minimize the cost of research which is involved. And essentially, what is happening is the conversion rate, which typically tends to be around 15 to 18%, they are slightly on the higher, between 22 to 24%. That is the advantage which AI gives, and brings that efficiency, and that 25 to 30% efficiency is the entire difference between a winner and a loser. So that's what it's going to happen, and down the line, you're going to see application of AI in bringing down the time for drug molecule research and bringing down the time for vaccine research. The current COVID vaccine was rushed through in getting released in 1 year, but down the line I see it happening that you'll be able to finish phase 3, phase 4 clinical trials within 1.5 year at most, and you'll have a vaccine ready to market within 2 years. So
Mhm.
that is one area which I see a lot of development coming. Additionally, fintech, I believe right now, even in the fintech space, most of the developments which are happening are still very operational, but it should go one level beyond to kind of ensure that you can deploy the right amount of capital at the right place at the right time. Right now,
Mhm.
what is happening is it's being extremely polarized and unevenly distributed. If you can ensure it in a way that the distribution is better, that is something we can really look at, to make a major change in how the economy is operating.
Absolutely. Thank you, Harsh, Gary, Raghu, all for the thoughts and insights. Want to come to each of you for closing thoughts and where you can be found online as we come to the close here for today's panel. Raghu, any closing thoughts, and where can you be found online to continue the conversation?
You can find me on LinkedIn at Raghu S. Rao. And in terms of closing, I think big data, AI, and cloud are the kind of the three drivers of the digital transformation. And while all of them are horizontal technologies, as Hirsch and Gary were mentioning, there's a lot of things that are happening because of the maturing of these technologies. Big data is already quite mature. AI is maturing to the next level. Cybersecurity is again maturing. It has only preventive and reactive approaches, and we need the proactive approach, which we are championing. So I think it's very exciting times. and it's there in every vertical that you can think of. And look forward to continuing and bringing more insights in these panels.
Thank you very much, Raghu. Harsh, any other closing thoughts? Where can you be found online for those looking to continue the conversation with you?
Cool. Absolutely. So the biggest, I would say, the biggest focus right now, as in, I've seen a lot of reports coming out there as well. Right? The most important job in the coming 5 years, coming 10 years, are going to be data scientists. The mountains of data which Gary was mentioning, right? We need highly capable data science to be able to make a sense out of that data, and we need much more innovative data models to kind of, just from, instead of, as Raghu pointed out, preventive reactive, take it to the proactive level, right? Because the data models, unless we kind of get it more efficient in terms of understanding and processing the data, and also ensuring there are no leakages, right? So that it's going to come down to these data scientists who can really take it to the next level. And I'm not talking about, regular data, the kind of data that we are having. There's you cannot quantify it in any logical ways. How deep the data is, and how there are multiple elements to it in terms of the depth of it and the width of it, right? So that's why you are going to need a good amount of data science to be able to make sense out of that. So if anyone's interested in trying to discuss it further with me offline, we can always connect on LinkedIn. My name is Harsh Bhatia, and I would be happy to take it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Harsh. Gary, close us out. Any closing thoughts, and where can you be found online?
Yeah, sure. This digital transformation that we've had to go through of the last year has really propelled us forward in all kinds of ways, from StreamYard, which was founded in 2018 in Canada, to Zoom. So we've been forced to use technologies to be able to keep business moving forward on a global basis. We need to continue to do that. We need to continue to excel, and we need to use AI to be able to help make sense of this massive amounts of data that's inundated each and every one of us every day. So it's a great time for startups. Go get them, from semi-supervised to unsupervised, and don't forget quantum computers, because quantum is going to change. Quantum computers will change everything. You can reach me, Gary Fowler, at LinkedIn. You can reach me on Facebook, GSD Venture Studios. Check out our site, gsdvs.com. Love to hear from you, and stay happy and stay healthy.
Thank you very much, Gary, Raghu, Harsh, again, for sharing your thoughts and insights around big data and artificial intelligence, along with cybersecurity as well. And to your audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, click subscribe, share the episode, and check out the archive on latoken.com to hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family. A big thank you to the Latoken team and to Maria for making today's episode of VCTV possible. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. You can find me everywhere online at Kyle Ellicott and on all social medias, just like all of our investors here today. And please do reach out to continue the conversation with each of us. But make sure you add context, where you heard us, where you met us, and what you would like to continue the conversation about as well. With that, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back here tomorrow with more VCTV. Everyone have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.